Beautiful Thriver, welcome to Thriver TV. Today we're going to talk about how you can thwart the narcissist's next move against you. But before we get into that, if you're new to my channel, I'd like to remind you, please like and subscribe and also share this video with people who you know it can help. And also, before I get going, I just want to remind you that if you haven't yet checked out Thrive, which is my 10-week intensive healing boot camp, have a look at the link that goes with this video, where you are going to get out of the pain, the trauma, the fear, and the feelings of powerlessness and helplessness and delayed recovery, and really burst through into thriving. So, the narcissist's next move. Logically, it's really quite hard to predict. And a lot of people over the years have said to me, what is the narcissist likely to do next? Because there's a pretty big bag of tricks that they actually have. And unless you've experienced a narcissist or you know what narcissistic abuse looks like, you couldn't even begin to imagine what a narcissist is actually capable of. Now, of course, this is terrifying and it creates a lot of anxiety. And the reality is because you've been through narcissistic abuse, you are already suffering from complicated post-traumatic stress disorder, because the foundations of your inner identity, which is love, approval, security, and survival, have all been threatened. The bedrock of what it is for you as a human to stand on and operate from has been deeply compromised. So you're already anxious. You're already in the obsessions about what has happened that you're trying to compartmentalize, you're trying to get some closure from, which is actually logically impossible to do. And we're going to talk about that. And also, in the moment of now, you know that a bomb could drop at any moment. And I experienced that personally, and I've seen it with the thousands of people that I've helped heal over the last 15 years, is that you just have stood up off the ground from the last sucker punch of what the narcissist has done or what you've discovered they were doing, or when people come forward and tell you things. And then another hit comes. Just when you think you're through the last one, another one comes, and another one comes, and another one comes. It's a little bit like giving birth. You women that know what this is like, you really think, oh gosh, this can't get any worse. And then it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And you don't even know how you're surviving it until your beautiful baby comes out. This is the same, but you don't know when you're going to get to the other side of this. It's an ongoing onslaught, and it feels like you're never going to get through it. And I know a lot of you have experienced this, or if you're already engaged in your Thriver healing, you're coming out of that dark tunnel and you've got your power and yourself and your sanity and your soul back. But until you have that, you're not really getting the reconciliation from your past. In the now, you're terrorized, and there's such a fear of the future, such a fear of, if I try to stand up for myself, is the narcissist going to up the ante? Are they going to get worse? If I acquiesce to try to keep the peace, are they going to get worse? So what you will find yourself doing is trying to hyper-vigilantly research and watch and maybe even stalk the narcissist on social media to try to get the heads up on what their next move is. But I want you to know that that actually equals how to lose. It's completely understandable. It's what I did as well. But what happens is when you are looking outside of you, trying to ascertain what the narcissist is going to do to try to get one up on them, you're actually trying to battle this on the wrong battlefield. because narcissistic abuse is not logical. You literally cannot predict what a narcissist is going to do, even though in our community we often do. Once you start working with NARP, the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, and once you're in the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Forum, you'll be amazed at how accurate our predictions are. And there is a very deep, powerful, simple reason for that. But when you're in your mind and you're trying to preempt what the narcissist is going to do, it will often be not what you expected. It will catch you off guard. And the biggest problem with all of it is that you're not centered enough in your being to be able to thwart it, which is what today's video is all about. Now, to understand how to thwart a narcissist's next move, you have to understand where the real battle is going on with a narcissist. This is actually a spiritual battle. And I'm not saying that to be all woohoo. I'm saying that because it's the truth. This is literally a battle for your soul. The thing that the narcissist is going to do next is the thing they know about you that's going to hurt you the most. That's going to disarm you, derail you, and get you to react emotionally. And this is why narcissists go after the things and the people in your life that are dear to your heart, that are going to trigger you. Narcissists are incredibly astute at working out where your gap is, what it is that is going to get you to emotionally hook back in again. And that's not devised by the narcissist so that you can get back together and they care about you and they want to fix things. It's to hook you back in, to continue punishing you. If it's got to the stage with narcissistic abuse that you've tried to pull away and you're getting to the final discard, which could be them finally discarding you for new supply, or it could be that you know you have to get out to save your soul and your life, then the narcissist's mission is literally to emotionally destroy you, because that gives them the vindication to their false self, their ego construct, that they were right, they were the victim, the innocent one, and you are the crazy, dysfunctional, abusive one. And if you completely break, and if you're destroyed emotionally, then it's like, I told you so. It was you all along. It wasn't me. And also, too, the narcissist suffering the ego injury of you getting away or wanting to be away and not wanting them in your life anymore. The ego injury is revenge. I have to destroy you. How dare you? And also, too, in the narcissist's childish thinking, it's all about you're either wonderful, which is when you're idolized and you're the best thing since sliced bread, or you are demonized. You are the narcissist's reason for everything going wrong in their life, and you're out to get them. What they've actually done is projected their distorted, malfunctioning inner self that they don't want to turn in and heal and bring back to life and resolve and heal. They just completely discard it and divorce it and disown it, and it is doing push-ups in the background, getting more and more dysfunctional and nasty. They've projected that onto you, all those parts of themselves they don't want to face and heal, and they have constructed in their own skewed thinking and malfunctioning brain synapses wiring that those parts are you. So by trying to destroy you, they're trying to actually destroy the parts of themselves that they don't want to face. But let's not get too carried away with researching all of that. I'm just telling you that so you have an understanding. Your power is in understanding yourself. So the narcissist is operating at this level, this energetic level of, I want to suck and destroy your soul structure, your inner being structure of being yourself. I want to take yourself down. This is a spiritual soul war. Now, when we don't understand that, of course, we're triggered, we're terrorized, traumatized. We can barely stand upright and put 2 feet in front of each other, let alone make a cup of tea, let alone thwart the narcissist. And everywhere you turn, there's a twist or a turn that takes you off guard. And you can't even, because you don't think this way, you're not wired this way, you can't even begin to formulate how they think or what they're going to do. You literally can't, because you're not that person. So you're trying to. You're trying to research narcissists, you're trying to stalk them on social media, you're trying to keep contact with people that they know to try to work out what's the next move or what they're going to do. You're going to solicitors, you're going to specialists, you're trying to warn them, you're trying to tell them this person is a malignant narcissist and they're horrible and this is... And what's happening is you're in more trauma and terror. You're more in your amygdala, which is fight, flee, or freeze. And in those places, like all of us, you're actually not intelligent. You are in the primitive part of the brain, which is very useful for getting up a tree if a rabid dog is chasing you. But apart from, or maybe lifting a car off your child pinned underneath, which reportedly has been done by people with an adrenaline surge. So for physical, superhuman operations, it's drained all of the energy and the blood out of your brain and your organs and put them into your limbs. But this is not helpful for trying to combat a narcissist. And in fact, what it does is it puts you behind the 8 ball. It means that while they are crafting and manipulating and they're setting the scene, and narcissists are very strategic in their... It's kind of like a bad novel. The way that they sit and they formulate and they tell whopping great lies to people and they get them on side and they groom their flying monkeys and their minions, and they're very, very, very strategic at what they're doing. And the more you try to work it out and question people and ask people and try to find out what's going on, the more you are getting in obsession, stinking thinking, which means that you can't deal. And when you get triggered by a sucker punch, you are going to be derailed, highly traumatized, more in your complicated post-traumatic stress disorder. And as far as this spiritual war goes, which is the basis for all of this, you're going to be in your inner being of highly activated trauma. And it's quantum law. So within, so without. When you're in highly activated trauma, what happens is the wrong people come in to help. You get the wrong information. You get people who won't support you, who attack you. Your children get alienated from you. The narcissist is beating you at every single turn because you're not well. Your actions, without realizing it, are actually co-colluding with more of the trauma. People think you're crazy. They think you're wrong. They think you're bad. They think you're messed up. They don't trust you. You can't get support. And it's vibrational. Water finds its own level. So when we're in a place of inner trauma, the people and situations and events that you're trying to procure are only going to give you more trauma. So you cannot thwart a narcissist by trying to deal with this in a normal human way. You just can't. So how do you thwart a narcissist? By understanding the truth about the narcissist and the truth about this battle. This is a spiritual soul battle. And whether or not you're spiritual or religious or even energetic or even open to these things, the law is the law. The energetic unseen world operates in a certain way, and it just is, whether you believe it or not. And when you start being open to this and start dealing with this in the unseen world, at the emotional level, you will start to see the real results that are unmistakable. Unmistakable. You will not be able to miss them unless you're completely ignorant. And I know you're not, because people who are narcissistically abused are hugely intelligent. But sometimes we're just not infinitely intelligent. We're not intelligent in regard to the body-brain connection. And that's the shift you need to make. So the body-brain connection works like this. The narcissist knows that they need to get your consent to hurt you. And you might think, I didn't say you can hurt me. Bring this to a spiritual soul level. Your consent is your pain and fear that puts you onto the level with them where they can attack. That's your consent. It's energetic. You researching them, you looking into it, you trying to find out what they're up to. You're participating. You're handing them your fear, your insecurity, and your power. And of course it's normal. Of course it's human. I'm not judging you about it. I did it too, nearly to my deathbed. I'm just explaining to you what does and what doesn't work. That doesn't work. That's your energetic consent. So how do you change it? By stopping doing it, turning inwards, picking up all your fears and your confusion and your insecurity and your anxiety and your PTSD and all the wounds that they've done to you and everything that you fear about, oh my God, I could lose my kids and my property. He's turning or she's turning the children against me. They could take everything. They've told me they're going to take everything that's triggered. Stopping trying to fix it out there past your being where you have no influence, and working where the only place you do have influence, which is within your inner being. This is your emotional self, your triggers. And when you load them up, and this is what quantum freedom healing does so powerfully, and you let go energetically, emotionally of what we can't let go of logically, because narcissistic abuse is mental. It makes no sense. We can't wrap our head around it. It's insane. So what hurts in your body, you just let it go and you bring in source to replace it, which is what quantum freedom healing does. What happens is, even from the first healing you do, you start to feel some space and some peace in your body, and your head simmers down and calms down. And it's in that space and that peace where what arises from within is this infinite body being intelligence. This is source. This is light. This is a higher intelligence, which is always efforting to guide you and bring you through this and bring you back to your sovereign true self state. If we just get ourselves out of the way. And getting ourselves out of the way is about getting out of our heads and the obsessive compulsiveness of trying to work it out and figure it out, and rather just come within and work it out, which means let it go and bring in the space and the peace and the power and the connection to a higher source, which ironically is the ultimate true source of love, approval, security, and survival, which is exactly what's been shattered and compromised by a false source, a narcissist, and we get it from the true source and we start filling with that. Then what happens is you will get to a point where you're just like, I'm free to be myself and get on with it, and I'm going to be my authentic self regardless of what you are and aren't doing. And what happens is you are no longer triggered by the smear campaigns. You have a very clear understanding of, I know who I am, and if people believe that, well, that's their problem. I know who I am. There's nothing to justify or lecture or prescribe about. I'm just free to be me. And if you don't like me, well, you don't like me. I like me. And I'm just going to go to court. I'm going to stop trying to tell everybody this is a narcissist. Do not do that. It doesn't work. Rather, I've got the evidence and I can just clearly, calmly, in a solid body, knowing source has my back, just present the facts. And that's when the narcissist falls to bits. Falls to bits. We have in our Thriver community all the time people who get great settlements and custody resolution because of that inner state. And I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to get on with my public life. And couldn't care less if the narcissist tries to derail me, smear me, take me to court, turn people against me. I'm free to be me, regardless. And this is exactly how you thwart the narcissist. Because you see, the narcissist can only infiltrate you and take you apart with your consent. Now, I know it's not logical consent, it's not verbal consent, it's energetic consent. And why are we energetically consenting? Because we're still carrying the traumas that the narcissist has triggered. And here's the sticking point, because when we're in a spiritual soul war, from here up, you're getting information about it, but it's not anchoring in your inner being to know it. It's one thing to think about it. It's one thing to understand it, but it's a completely different one to apply it. And applying it happens from inner standing. That's where you get the application, because you have become it. I want you to feel that and understand what I'm saying. So to thwart the narcissist's next move is to become connected to your source soul self and be your sovereign true self without fear, regardless of what they are or aren't doing. And because a narcissist is a no self, they're not connected to source. They're completely disconnected with a false self, with an ego as the true master, which is an empty black hole. They have no power of their own. They're a parasite. They're a vampire. They need your fear and pain to be able to operate against you in your universe. Where there is light, there is no darkness. This is the only only way to thwart a narcissist. You can't second guess them. You can't stay ahead of the game. You can't research your way out of it. You can't fact find your way out of it, because they can twist on a dime. The narcissist doesn't know what they're going to do one moment to the next, because they are emotionally triggered in their wounds of revenge, and they are a nemesis in our life, bringing to us all of the gaps and the fears that we haven't healed up yet. And that's exactly what they go for. So this is your true resolution. I hope this helps make sense to you, because it is the absolute truth, and it changed my life beyond recognition. And it's how I've been so privileged and humbled to help thousands of thrivers from all over the world get out of the most disgraceful, disgusting traumas and torment and awful things that the narcissist is doing to them and their livelihoods and their children and their loved ones and even their pets. You know, everything you can imagine. Being able to stop it dead in its tracks as a result of doing the Thriver inner work. So if this is resonating with you, I want you to look at it, and more than that, I want you to try this, because you will feel the difference very, very quickly. So check out the link with this video, which is Thrive. It's coming up real soon. And I can't wait to show you this other way to live that's not only helpful for narcissists, it's actually helpful for everything that you've been struggling with. You deserve to thrive. That's what we all came here to do. So I hope this has made sense, and lots of love, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.